day235 of reading. Today we're reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Let's get started. It was kind of too late yesterday, so I didn't post. Anyways, we're on page 167. Well, you can enchant a building so it's impossible to plot a map, can't you? If you say so, said Harry. But I think Durmstrang must be somewhere in the far north, said Hermione thoughtfully. Somewhere very cold, because they've got fur capes as part of their uniforms. Think of all the possibilities, said Ron dreamily. It would be so easy to push Malfoy off a glacier and make it look like an accident. Shame his mother likes him. The rain became heavier and heavier as the train moved further. North. The sky was so dark and the windows so steamy that the lanterns were lit by midday. The lunch trolley came rattling along the corridor, and Harry bought a large stack of cauldron cakes for them to share. Several of their friends looked in on them as the afternoon progressed, including Seamus Finnegan, Dean Thomas, and Neville Longbottom, a round-faced, extremely forgetful boy who had been brought up by his formidable witch of a grandmother. Seamus was still wearing his Ireland rosette. Some of its magic seemed to be wearing off now. It was squeaking, "Choi, mullet, morin," but in a feeble and exhausted sort of way. After half an hour or so, Hermione, growing tired of the endless Quidditch talk, buried herself once more in the Standard Book of Spells, Grade 4, and started trying to learn a summoning charm. Neville listened jealously to the others' conversation as they relived the cup match. Gran didn't want to go, he said miserably. Wouldn't buy tickets. It sounded amazing, though. It was, said Ron. Look at this, Neville. He rummaged in his trunk and in the luggage rack and pulled out the miniature figure of Victor Crumb. Oh, wow, said Neville enviously as Ron tipped Crumb onto his pudgy hand. We saw him right up close, as well, said Ron. We were in the top box. For the first and last time of your life, Weasley. Draco Malfoy had appeared in the doorway. Behind him stood Crabbe and Goyle, his enormous, thuggish cronies, both of whom appeared to have grown at least a foot during the summer. Evidently, they had overheard the conversation through the compartment door, which Dean and Seamus had left ajar. Don't remember asking you to join us, Malfoy, said Harry coolly. Weasley, what is that? Said Malfoy, pointing at Pigwidgeon's cage. A sleeve of Ron's dress robes was dangling from it, swaying with the motion of the train, the moldy lace cuff very obvious. Ron made to stuff the robe out of sight, but Malfoy was too quick for him. He seized the sleeve and pulled. Look at this, said Malfoy in ecstasy, holding up Ron's robes and showing Crabbe and Goyle. Weasley, you weren't thinking of wearing these, would you? They were very fashionable in about 1890. Eat dung, Malfoy, said Ron, the same color as the dress robes, as he snatched them back out of Malfoy's grip. Malfoy howled with derisive laughter. Crabbe and Goyle guffawed stupidly. So, going to enter, Weasley? Going to try and bring a bit of glory to the family name? There's some money involved as well. You know, you'd be able to afford some decent robes if you want. What are you talking about? Snapped Ron. Are you going to enter? Malfoy repeated. I suppose you will, Potter. You never miss a chance to show off, do you? Either explain what you're on about or go away, Malfoy, said Hermione testily over the top of the Standard Book of Spells, Grade 4. A gleeful smile appeared across Malfoy's face. Don't tell me you don't know, she said delightedly. You've got a father and a brother at the ministry, and you don't even know? My God, my father told me about it ages ago. Heard it from Cornelius Fudge. But then, father's always associated with top people at the ministry. Maybe your father's too junior to know about it. Weasley, yes. They probably don't talk about important stuff in front of him. Laughing once more, Malfoy beckoned to Crabbe and Goyle, and the three of them disappeared. Ron got at his feet and slammed the sliding compartment door so hard behind them that the glass shattered. Ron, said Hermione reproachfully as she pulled out her wand, muttered, Reparo, and the glass shards flew back into a single plane and back into the door. Well, making it look like he knows everything and we don't, snarled Father. Father's always associated with top people at the ministry. Dad could have got a promotion any time. He just likes it where he is. Of course he does, said Hermione quietly. Don't let Malfoy get at you, Ron. Him! Get to me! As if, said Ron, picking up one of the remaining cauldron cakes and squishing it to a pulp. Ron's bad mood continued for the rest of the journey. He didn't talk much as they changed into the school robes and was still glaring when the Hogwarts Express slowed down at last and finally stopped in the pitch darkness of Hogsmeade Station. As the train doors opened, there was a rumble of thunder overheard. Hermione bundled up Crookshanks in her cloak, and Ron left his dress robes over Pigwidgeon as they left the train. Heads bent and eyes narrowed against the downpour. The rain was now coming down so thick and fast that it was as though buckets of ice-cold water were being emptied repeatedly over their heads. Hi, Hagrid, Harry yelled, seeing a gigantic silhouette at the far end of the platform. All right, Harry? Hagrid bellowed, waving. See you at the feast if we don't drown. First years traditionally reach Hogwarts Castle by sailing across the lake with Hagrid. Ooh, I wouldn't fancy crossing the lake in this weather, said Hermione fervently, shivering as they inched slowly along the dark platform with the rest of the crowd. 100 horseless carriages stood waiting for them outside of the station. Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Neville climbed gratefully into one of them. The door shut with a snap, and a few moments later, with a great lurch, the long procession of carriages were rumbling and splashing its way up the track toward Hogwarts Castle. Chapter 12. The Tree Wizard Tournament. Through the gates, flanked with statues of winged boars, and up the sleeping drive the carriages trundled, swaying dangerously in what was fast becoming a gale. Leaning against the window, Harry could see Hogwarts coming near, its many lighted windows blurred and shimmering behind the thick curtain of rain. Lightning flashed across the sky as their carriage came to a halt before the great oak front doors, which stood at the top of a flight of some stone steps. People who had occupied the carriages in front were already hurrying up the stone steps into the castle. Harry, Ron, and Hermione and Neville jumped down from their carriage and dashed up the steps too, looking up only when they were safely inside the cavernous, torchlit entrance hall, with its magnificent marble staircase. Blimey, said Ron, shaking his head and sending water everywhere. If Dad keeps up, the lake's going to overflow. I'm so... Arrgh! Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to read page 172. Yeah. I believe I will post tomorrow, so keep a watch out. Peace out. I